Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Justin Young. He's Josh Tech, and welcome to the Commitment Catch-Up. It's something that we're going to be doing every single week right here on the Fast Break on Hoopsing.com. It is recruiting season. The travel ball season is over. Guys are taking visits, and big decisions are happening every single day. A lot of hashtag blessed, a lot of hashtag respect my decision happening all over the place. Josh, how you doing?
Good. I'm ready for the notes apps, screenshots to be popping up in my Instagram or my Twitter feed or my X feed, whatever it's called, feed. A lot now because there's a lot of respecting my decisions. A lot of thank you to all the coaches who recruited me. A lot of blessed people. People are blessed right now.
Well, they are, and to be fair, they've done the work to get to this point to be able
to
call a college their home, and that's something that I know that's what we do. Why we do what we do. In the interim, or in the end, not the interim, in the end of why we do what we do. So we're going to try to find 3 or 4 commitments a week that we really like. I'm going to kind of go through them. This week we got 3 guys on the board that we're going to talk about. CJ Brown out of Kell High School in Marietta is going to South Florida. Marcus Allen out of Miami Norland is headed to Missouri, and we'll wrap things up with Liam Campbell out of Idaho going to Southern Cal. So we'll start with you, Josh, a guy that outside of maybe the Brown family, I think you've got a permanent spot of the CJ Brown fan club. He's going down to Tampa, going to play for Amir Abdul-Rahim down at South Florida, a guy that he's known probably for a long time since he's been at Kennesaw. You surprised by this, or is this something that we should be getting used to seeing now that Amir's down there at South Florida?
I'm not surprised by this, and I am also I also do believe that this is something that we should be getting used to seeing because he's just going to keep that momentum rolling. At his heart, at his core, Amir Abdul-Rahim is a Georgia guy, and more specifically, I feel like he is a Cobb County guy, right? He's a
Marietta guy.
Marietta specifically, he's going to be forever a link to that area in some regard, whether the Wheeler ties or the Kennesaw State ties, really bringing that program to prominence.
Sure.
So he's going to recruit the area continuously. He's going to be a guy whose name carries weight in this area for a very long time, or forever rather. So I'm not surprised by this. I think it was between. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any insight on this, but I believe it was between Kennesaw State and South Florida. So I think it was kind of go with Amir or stay here and kind of play in your own backyard. But I really love this commitment. I think CJ Brown is one of those guys who can continue to develop at the next level and kind of really keep taking strides and becoming like an all-conference caliber player, a really, impactful player on both ends of the ball. And his athleticism is just something that not a lot of people have. It's explosive. It's dynamic. He can really do a lot of things well on the floor. So I think there's a really great pickup for the Bulls, right?
For the Bulls, yeah. For the American Conference. We talked another pod about we have to Google to make sure we know what conference schools are in these days, and South Florida's in the American Conference. Yeah. CJ Brown, big commitment for there. We like him a lot. We love his athleticism. We love his competitiveness. And that's the type of player that I think served Amir really well when he was at Kennesaw, and it looks like he's going to take the same blueprint and put that there in place at South Florida moving forward. So, again, staying with the blueprint, staying with what you know. Let's move on to our next commitment and talk about Marcus Allen going to Missouri. I almost said South Florida.
Marcus Allen in Missouri is kind of difficult. You got the alliteration there, so it's kind of like, what am I doing? Yeah.
Well, again, I'm like literally like Googling like what conference, because now I'm like overthinking it and trying to figure out who's going where. Right. But yeah, so Marcus Allen was out here in Arizona, AZ Compass Prep, from Miami Norland to be specific. And I don't know if anybody recruits Miami better than Missouri assistant coach Charlton Young. A Miami guy, recruited Miami top to bottom, has been to Norland many, many times. A guy comes to mind, Zach Peacock, a great at Georgia Tech. Charlton Young recruited him to Georgia Tech out of Norland. So here we have another guy who I think reminds me similarly of Zach Peacock and Marcus Allen, kind of an undersized floor man, a guy that's going to grind, a guy that's going to guard, a guy that can be a pick and pop type of player. I really like him on the defensive end, particularly. And we've talked about this a lot on this podcast, how much we love that staff, but I feel like Allen has the characteristics of a guy that's played very, very well for Dennis Gates. Like, how would you grade this commitment for both parties, Josh?
Well, I just think that the fit is so good because the history of Dennis Gates and Charlton Young with guys from the state of Florida is just like the track record is proven for years upon years upon years. So I think that this hire could be, or that's not hire, this well, I guess some people would call it a hire. this landing, this recruitment, this commitment, there we go. That's the word I was thinking. This commitment could be big for both parties because they develop players really well over there. They've shown it at Florida State. They kind of take, maybe like not under the radar, but guys who weren't automatic, no-brainer NBA picks and turn them into that, right? So I think this could be one of those examples, and they do such a good job of Florida. They do such a good job at developing and evaluating talent that I think this is a win for both parties.
I think when we look at big picture, when we get closer to signing day later in the fall, we do our big picture stuff. I think Allen to Missouri is going to be one of the more significant commitments there is in the class nationally because of the fit. And I love the fit. Of the three guys we're talking about today, I think this is the best fit we've seen out of all of them. Wrapping things up here on the commitment catch-up, Liam Campbell out of Oywhyee High School in basically Boise, Idaho area is going back home. He's a Southern California guy, an Orange County guy going to Southern Cal. Liam Campbell's a guy that I've seen quite a bit since I moved out to the West. Owyhee is a tremendous program. Great.
You're
program.
The Idaho whisperer.
I know I joke about it. I love Idaho basketball. I think there's some really good players because of guys like Liam Campbell. A lot of guys moving into the state from California. Boise is a really nice place to live, and we're going to start to see more players, I think, out of that metro area going to schools like USC. Liam Campbell is a guy that can go get a jumper. He can knock down a shot. We've seen him do it really well at Section 7 on travel ball. Has been one of the most dominant scorers in independent basketball. If he was playing on the HSA, he probably would have been our MVP this year, honestly. Like a tremendous player, a guy that we've had in our top 100 for quite some time, and quite frankly, a guy that can go out there and get a shot. And I think when you look at schools like USC, when they're getting like these one-and-done type of players like, Isaiah Collier or Evan Mobley, you've got to be able to build with players like Liam Campbell that can stick around for a long time, that may give you more value as a junior or senior. I mean, look at a guy, and maybe USC fans may not want to hear this, but look at a guy like Jaime Jaquez. It took some time for him to really kind of find his role. By the time he was a senior, he had all the facets of the diamond were polished. He was a tremendous all-around player. I think Liam Campbell could be that same type of guy in a system that's been very, very good for guards that can go out there and get buckets. I really like this commitment a lot, and I think it's one of the more significant commitments that we've seen in the West Coast the last couple of years. So I really like this one a lot, more because of the sustainable value that Liam Campbell brings the Trojans. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it.
I love it too. We're going to do this every Monday, or at least every start of the week moving forward. I guess today's not Monday. I don't know what day it is anymore. But we're going to try to do this every beginning of the week with our commitment catch-ups and go over some of the better ones that we like here moving forward. Josh Tec, appreciate the insight.
Yep, thank you.
Take care.